Well, hi there and welcome along to another educational Zoom call between Property Tribes and Lendlord. This is all part of our Property Tribes Cross Lendlord collab, where we are working with Lendlords to help landlords lead their best possible digital life. And today we are going to be talking about stress testing your portfolio. Now, this has always been important, but subsequent to the COVID-19 crisis, it's become even more important. And I think what's really interesting to consider is that the COVID-19 crisis actually stress tested the entire property sector and identified weak business models, whether that was a landlord, a lettings agent, an estate agent, a developer. Whoever you might be, your business would have been very much tested during the last 8 weeks or so. Joining me is Lendlord CEO and co-founder Aviram Shahar. So Aviram, I think it's a really good time to turn our spotlight onto this whole issue of stress testing. We've got to learn from these situations and think about how we can really refine our business models and have better understanding of them. And of course, that's what Lendlord is all about. And we reacted very, very quickly when lockdown came, and we were able to immediately instigate a stress test module on Lendlord to help landlords understand their position in the event that their tenant had to go into receipt of housing benefit, or indeed the landlord agreed a temporary rent deduction for the tenant while the crisis was ongoing. So I thought it'd be interesting to actually look at that stress testing module on Lendlord today.
Yep, let's see it. And I think that it was a good example of our collaboration.
Yeah.
And, you know, when the crisis has started, in one of the tribes, you know, people start to ask some questions like how they can stress test, how much runway they have, what is the risk level. And then we started to develop this feature together with the help of Property Tribes and with our team. And I will show you how to use it and basically how to track your risk level. And, you know, it's very good for the COVID period, but we, of course, recommend to do it, you know, also in a more peaceful time.
Yes, of course. And we must also thank Bill Irvine, our UC and LHA expert, for providing us with the new LHA UC rates, which were published at the start of lockdown. He was very, you know, speedy to come onto the forum and leave that information there, which was a great relief to a lot of landlords. And I think it's also interesting that, you know, there'll be a lot of landlords with private tenants who are probably going to move on to UC and LHA in the coming months as the furlough scheme is gradually withdrawn and the government support is gradually withdrawn. The actual picture of employment or unemployment will become a lot clearer. So this stress testing module is still going to be actually very important going forwards because we're not out of this yet.
Right. So in order to access the stress test, you should go to your My Portfolio page. If you already enter your details, so we already have the important data to calculate the risk level. So just click on the stress test link and you will get this screen. With some explanations on what is the LHA and UC rates and how to fulfill this form in order to get your risk level. So you can see a table with your list of properties with the rent that the current rent rate that you should receive, like the expected rent. In the second column, you should put it can be like either the LHA UC rent, or if you know that you're going to get the entire rental income, so you can put the entire rental income, or if you have like some kind of an agreement with your tenants, you can put whatever you agreed on, like that will be like the rent for the next upcoming months. And if you want to assume some voids, you can just put 0. And by that, you can start to see your risk level and your cover ratio on each property. And the main thing, you can also look at your entire portfolio and look at your cover ratio. And on the cover ratio, the original cover ratio, and the cover ratio if you go down to LHA UC or go even like to void or more reduced amounts that you are going to get from your tenants. So this is the way to work with it. Anything you do here is saved, so you can go back to this screen and tweak the data from time to time. We also take the costs, very important, because usually you can stick with the costs, but you can have a problem with the rent, but the costs are there. So we take the monthly mortgage costs from my portfolio. And if you maintain your monthly expenses, if you track them at Lendlord on the profit and loss model, we will take the monthly cost from the existing month. But of course, you can also tweak this number here and see how it impacts your rate cover ratio. I think all in all, this is it. Just log in at your account, go to the stress test model and play with that and see like what is your risk level.
Yep, and we can see at the top there that there is a link indeed to the latest government LHA and UC rates, which you can click on there to get that information. And I think it's so interesting to see this in action, Aviram, because we're still going through the whole fallout from COVID-19, and every month I think we are going to see changes. We may see changes of a tenant going on to LHA or UC. We may see a tenant who has had a rental decrease and has gone onto a payment plan and has got back into work and is able to start repaying their normal monthly rent plus a little bit extra to pay down their arrears. And that's what I love about this whole stress tester, is that it gives you immediate gratification to see exactly what your financial position is and what your interest coverage ratios are for each individual property, but also your entire portfolio. And it's showing you where the heightened risks are, where it's gone red. So it's very visually easy to understand, as well as just to input all the data as you've shown us. And it gives an instant result. And that's really a big part of what Lendlord is about. It wants to encourage you to use it, because you do get that instant gratification, that instant result, that instant insight.
The good thing is that you just need to enter your data once, and then the system will start work for you, and you can get your insights to your email or on your dashboard, also on our weekly report that we generate with the customizable report based on your data that you enter to the platform.
We do encourage you to check into Property Tribes on a regular basis, not only for these videos, but of course we've got information about coronanomics, as we're calling it, coming through all the time to help landlords work their way through this very challenging and uncertain time. And I think Lendlord and the information and the insights it provides to landlords is, as we've been saying, so important, and will continue to be so going forwards. We're in a kind of new age of landlord life now, where we really do have to understand our numbers. We have to understand our financial position, how our portfolio is performing. And there's so much uncertainty still out there. We don't actually know how the market's going to perform. We've got to really be across these metrics. So that's why Lendlord is such a good tool to use in the current conditions. And of course, it's free to use. And, one of the questions that comes up, frequently, Aviram, is how can it be free to use? And we're happy to answer that as many times as people ask it, aren't we?
Right. Yeah. So first, one note about the thing that you need to track your key metrics and like the importance of this. And I think that with Lendlord, this is like our vision is like to provide the landlord with a high level overview of their portfolio, and also make decisions based on data. So you get your dashboard, you can watch some insights on the insights page in terms of your performance of your properties, and basically you can grow your property business smartly if you use Lendlord like as a baseline, as a foundation to make a decision on your next step and measure your risk and more. In terms of the pricing, so yes, we want to keep Lendlord free as a free resource. Our current business model is based on referrals. So it doesn't mean that we take your data and pass it on to third parties. No. If the platform finds an opportunity for you, let's say for your mortgage, then you will get this pop-up. We will make a suggestion if you want to work with our provider. It's up to you, to decide if you want to do it or not. And if you decide, you should put your phone number and our provider will call you back. This week, we have released a new page. We call it Services and Give Back Plan. The main benefit is that you can start online processes with our providers, and you can get statuses on your process, and you can basically track your process online. I will use a different account to show you an example. So this is like the benefit. So you can track your processes online, you work with our providers, and if you complete the process, on completion, we get a fee. And this is the way we can monetize the platform. And if we get a fee, we also allow you to earn some give back points. And we call them give back points because after you earn at least 200 points, you can make a donation to one of several charity organizations that we work with. So this is like something that also we can give back to the community. And again, I will emphasize that we are not forcing you to use our providers. We are not bombarding our users. If you get like a notification, you can choose to work with our providers. And if you decide to do so, you help us maintain Lendlord as a free resource and also give back to the community. Just one example of the processes. So let's say you started the process of landlord insurance. Or I think that the main benefit is on the finance side. Like if you started like a new mortgage application, you can see which steps are there for you like to go through in the future, and which steps you already completed and on which date. And you will also receive an email notification on each step you completed. So I think that this is like the main benefit. You can basically manage all of your relevant processes in like the compliance processes in one place, track their statuses online, and earn some give back points that Lendlord will make a donation on behalf of our users.
Yeah, so it's all moving towards our shared objective that Lendlord becomes a digital dashboard for your entire landlord life. And it is monetized in a very similar fashion to Property Tribes. It's all transparent. They are legitimate products and services from trusted providers such as the award-winning Alan Boswell Group for insurance. So we really want to create an ecosystem on Lendlord where you can, manage your entire landlord life and get access to good and trusted products and services, and support Lendlord in, being free to use indefinitely, and, fine-tuning it with your feedback to make it even better. And that's really what we're looking to do at all times. And it's interesting, we mentioned the FAQ of how is it monetized. Well, on our Thursday night webinar, which we'll be having in a couple of days' time, that is the topic. We want to know your FAQs about using Lendlord. Now, maybe you've never tried it before and you've got some information that you'd like about it, or maybe you are a super user and you've got some questions you'd like to ask. Anything at all, we are going to be on hand on Thursday evening to answer those questions. Now, you can join via the little pop-up on Property Tribes, and you can put your question into the box there in advance of the webinar, but we can also take questions from the live chat on the evening. So we do encourage you to come and join us on Thursday evening. All the details will be below this video, and we will be on hand, myself, Aviram, and Nick, to answer any questions you might have about this software. Any ideas you've got, any feedback you've got, we want to hear from you. So for now, this is the end of our Property Tribes Cross Lendlord Collab educational Zoom call for today. We hope you found it valuable, and we hope that you'll join us at the next live webinar on Thursday evening. Details below. So we'll say goodbye to Aviram for now. Thank you, Aviram. And we look forward to seeing your smiling face again on Thursday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.